Okay, I'd like to call to order the regular council meeting of August 12, 2019. Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Campbell.
Here.
Council Magno. Dixon.
Here.
Gibbons.
Here.
Hannon.
Present.
Harrison.
Present.
McLean. Mowry.
Here.
O'Brien.
Present.
We have 7 members present. At this time, could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, at this time, I'd like to turn to chair announcements. There was an executive session of council conducted tonight, August 12th, 2019, for legal issues and personnel matters. At this time, I would like to turn to the reports of the officials and the police chief's report.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. Hi, everybody. Chief O'Connor here. First, I want to thank everyone who participated in last week's National Night Out. We had really good weather and we had a really good turnout. If you haven't been able to do it yet, if you go to the Bethel Park Police Facebook page, we have about like 20 photos posted from the events of National Night Out with the officers and the kids. So check that out if you can. Second, school starts August the 21st. So please be careful when driving. Watch out for the school buses and also watch out for the students walking because we want to have a safe school year. And then again, we're not having a crime watch due to the summer, so follow us on Facebook. We'll keep you updated with anything of importance and the other social media sites that we have. Any questions?
Any questions?
Excellent.
Thank you very much, Chief. Can we turn to the fire department's report? Not seeing anybody this evening. Let's turn to the municipal manager's report.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry, good evening, everybody. If I can ask Judge Ron Arnone to come forward, please. And if I could ask my beautiful wife and little children to come on up.
We have a special guest in Judge Arnone tonight. Yes.
I was a little further north.
And one of the things we ask him to do is to swear in our new manager. So, Mr. Christian, would you like to introduce your family?
Yes, this is my beautiful wife, Anne Marie Christian. My oldest, Preston. Middle one, Harrison, right here. And my baby girl, Roslyn.
I'm gonna ask you to do the job here for me. Here's this mic. Can you just hold it for me? Hold it up. Hold it up there. Up so it's close to Daddy. There you go. Can you handle that? I think you can. Let me raise your right hand. Repeat after me. State your name. After I,
Lawrence J. Christian.
do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
the laws and ordinances of the municipality of Bethel Park,
the laws and ordinances of the municipality of Bethel Park,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
and perform all the duties of municipal manager
and perform all the duties of municipal manager
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. I'd like to congratulate municipal manager Christian, and thank council and president for allowing me to bestow this honor upon him. I'm gonna have you now sign, and I will sign, and then you belong to these people up here, the mayor, council, and the residents of Bethel Park. Welcome. It was a pleasure meeting with you. We had a meeting, and I think the municipality is going to be in excellent hands. So welcome to Bethel Park, your beautiful family, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it here.
That young boy did a good job over the microphone.
He sure did. He did, I gotta tell you what.
Would he like to say a few words?
Say hello.
Not tonight.
This is the first time he's ever been short of words.
What about her? One copy, and then I'll give him one, and I'll do it for you.
Thank you.
She wants to hold the microphone.
She's got some stuff to share with everyone. Yes. Daddy, I love you. See you later. You got to pass the microphone back though.
Mayor and council, thank you so much for indulging me to get in and out of here. You know, a long day.
Yeah.
Many long days to come after being out a few days. So,
We thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
thank you.
Okay. At this time, I would like to move to the mayor's report, and Mayor Allen.
Thank you. I can tell that our new manager was in the service because when you're standing behind him and he has his right hand up, I mean, he's at attention. So he was paying attention. I just have a few things this evening. I wanted to start by reminding everyone that we still have our farmers market. That's every Tuesday from 3 to 7, and it's down at South Park at the old swimming pool. I did mention a couple months ago that this is the first year we're having an annual Halloween contest. The judging will be October 20th to the 30th, and unlike the Christmas lighting, this will be municipal-wide, so we will have like a winner, but the winner will be competing against everyone else in Bethel Park. So if you want to judge, or you have a home that you want to nominate, including your own, because it'll be tough to get everywhere, if you can call Janet Davin at 412-831-6800, extension 211. Also want to remind everyone about Community Day this year, September 14th. The parade starts at 9 o'clock right here, ends up at the high school, and that's where the festivities begin. This year, I don't know if you remember or not, but we had a contest for the grade school. It was paint a truck. All the plows have been painted, and we will have 12 plows down there with their pictures on. And hopefully it won't snow this year so the paint doesn't get ruined. We don't want to see a second grader crying because the plow didn't look like it did at the beginning of the season. So we'd like to see everybody on Community Day also. Just as a public service announcement, the Senior Citizen Connect Card. Currently, anyone that uses Port Authority that's 65 and over just needs to show their Medicare card to ride. But starting January 1st of next year, you have to get a Connect card. And you can pick that up at Representative Mihalik's office, Pisarcik, or Senator Iannavino's office. And that way, you just have to bring proof of driver's license, birth certificate, passport, or any other identification. So at this point, I'd like to introduce Dan Duff, and he's with the Community Foundation. And anytime I see Dan in the back of the room, everyone up here smiles. I don't know why that is, but Dan?
Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate the compliment. I think the reason that he enjoys seeing the foundation come, so we usually come bearing money. We were here just about a month or so ago to help pay for some new trail access at the Clifton Highfield area, the Montour Trails. So I've actually brought two of the executive board members, Bill Holden and Brittany Holler, to just give out some checks tonight, because I figure they get some of the fun that I get to give out all the time. So first up will be Bill Holden, and he will be giving a presentation, a check to the Historical Society. Come down for that? Any other members of the Historical Society here tonight would love to have them come, Bill? Explain that, and I'll step aside and we'll get a picture done.
On behalf of the Bethel Park Community Foundation, we're pleased to present this check for $10,000 to the Bethel Park Historical Society, making our total donation of $20,000 for the Bethel Park Community Foundation Auditorium Project.
I want to say a few words. On behalf of the Bethel Park Historical Society, we greatly appreciate all the efforts and everything the Bethel Park Community Foundation's done. They have one annual fundraiser each fall, plus we are now doing the Fantastic Four charities, which assist the library, the Education Foundation, the foundation, as well as Historical Society. So this is going to be partly is the check from last year to pay for the renovations of the second floor auditorium. So on behalf of the Bethel Park Historical Society, we just want to say thank you.
You're welcome. Miss Brittany, would you like to come up with your check? Tim, you want to be in this one too? Where is it? This is how much it's for.
Okay, so this check is going to the municipality of Bethel Park for $15,000. One of our areas of focus is improving community areas. So with that, the $15,000 is going to fixtures in the quiet area that they're creating in the community center.
Just so everybody knows, this is a plan we've had for the last couple of years, which we were looking for a funding source, and now it's come to fruition. The people that are familiar with it used to be the adult lounge, the patio off the back of the community center. The area between there and the gym, it's a grassy area now, and our plans to be presented to council, hopefully at the end of this month, will be to put some waterfalls, a place for people, a little gazebo for people to get married, as well as just a quiet area. The community center itself is very active. We wanted a place, if you wanted to come and read a book or somewhere where it's quiet, this is an area we chose. So we once again thank the foundation for their help and support.
Actually, I've been looking forward to this one for a couple of years because it's a nice outside place to have weddings rather than, in here or the office or something. The last thing I have for this evening is I wanted to recognize a person. I started the beginning of the week or the end of last week with not a whole lot going on, but we filled that up pretty quick. As the chief mentioned, last Tuesday was National Night Out. We went from 3 locations, I believe it went to 10, and it was just a great night. But on that night, and if you had seen the news at 11 o'clock, we had a person of interest from down in, I guess that's Washington County, that decided that that would be a good night to start going to houses and robbing the houses. Well, tonight I want to recognize the person who didn't let that happen. So if you can come up, Don. Now, Don's a big guy, but I guess this guy couldn't do it himself. So. So if you can tell us just how it happened, or how'd you notice this person?
Him and I were just inside having dinner. My wife was gone with our daughter to a concert. And the neighbor came over and said, "Do you know the guy in your yard?" And I said, "No." And he went running out to the neighbor's house. I went to the front of the house where he was coming out, and I approached him and said, "What are you doing?" He had every excuse in the book of why he was there. He said his dad told him he could borrow my weed whacker. So as he was telling me, he threw a punch at me, threw him to the ground, and thank God Matt came out of the house to help me because I was running out of gas. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, because, and I've been doing this for quite a few years, recognize people that make Bethel Park a special place. So I have a certificate of recognition presented to Dominic Batera for your making Bethel Park a special place to live. And it's awarded this 12th day of August, 2019. So congratulations and thank you. And that's my report.
Thank you very much, Mayor. At this time, can we turn to the approval of the minutes and Mr. Hannon?
The first one is the regular council meeting of July 8th. I move that we approve the regular council meeting minutes of July 8th, 2019.
There's a motion and second that we approve the regular council meeting minutes of July 8th, 2019. Any discussion of this item?
Yes, Mr. President, there is a errata, page 55, line 8. It should read did instead of didn't. And these are just comments on the Allegheny Land Trust property.
Thank you. If we could technically have a motion to amend the minutes with these corrections.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, let's go back to amend the minutes to change did to didn't, or didn't to did.
Didn't to did.
Okay, Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Campbell.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Maury.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0 to amend the minutes to did instead of didn't, or did instead of did, whatever he said. Okay, let's back to the original motion as amended. Any discussion? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Campbell.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Maury.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0 on the minutes as amended. Mr. Hand.
Next item is the minutes of the special meeting of July 22nd, 2019. I move that we approve the special meeting minutes of July 22nd, 2019.
Second?
There's a motion and a second. We approve the special meeting minutes of July 22nd, 2019. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Christian, please call the roll.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Maury.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. At this time, I'd like to turn to the approval of bills and payrolls. And Mr. Hannon.
I move that we approve the bills and payrolls of municipality per bill list number 081219 for $3,111,842.31.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. We approve the bills and payrolls for the municipality per bill list number 081219 for $3,111,842.31. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Campbell.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Maury.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. At this time, I'd like to turn to the resident comment section for non-agenda items. We have 6 people signed up to speak. Mr. Failer, We do have a new clock. We have a 3-minute limit. We'd ask you to conclude your comments within 3 minutes.
Rich Fowler, 1119 Logan Road. You're talking about the flooding again. After the last meeting, Mark O'Brien told me he made a motion to get the sale of my property on the agenda to fix my problems. He said that he couldn't even get a second to be able to discuss the situation. I believe that if this council does not look at every option in resolving any flooding problems, you're being irresponsible and in dereliction of your duties as elected officials. You took an oath to do what's best in the interests of Bethel Park residents. That means all the residents, not just your friends and anyone else. You'd rather spend more of the taxpayer money year after year than do what's necessary to do a permanent fix. It's so typical of governments to lean on their budgets and run up the bills for the taxpayers. I know that you're concerned about the ramifications in the future what buying my property could cause, but that should not stop you from doing whatever possible to stop this problem. Future ramifications did not stop the municipality of Bethel Park from issuing building permits that caused these problems. They were blinded by the greed of higher taxes, and what's stopping you now? I see on the agenda tonight there's more development before you fix the problems from the previous developments. I'd like to see anybody show me the same situation that I have here in Bethel Park. If there are any, it would only be a few. So what's the problem with buying a few properties to help resolve the bigger problem? If that is the best solution, it should not be rolled out before thoroughly looking into it. It's the best solution. I mean, you guys aren't even looking at it. So I don't understand how you can feel that you're doing all you can do. I'll skip this next part, but because as soon as they're here, but I've spent a lot of my own money trying to resolve the problems, more than most. Bethel Park has given out a lot of cash, money to residents in the past for flooding in their homes. I have numerous people that have told me this. You've given me exactly zero. Your documentation shows I was offered $5,000 to, as I was told that day, go away. But it was written here as resolve the problem. It also said I did not make a counter offer, which was not present to me at that time. Presented to me at that time. But I did offer settlement a few months ago at one of the council meetings with no response. You'll probably spend more of the taxpayers' money than that to try to fix the problem any other way. I'd like to know how somebody can tell me how you guys are trying to help me. How about actually showing everybody what a great community this is, like you talked about every council meeting, by fixing the problem instead of just sitting around telling everybody how great you are. Thank you.
Thank you. Rosemary Costanzo.
No comment.
Okay, Jean Enright. You can just state your name and address for the record, please.
Hang on a second.
This is a training issue.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
My name is Jean Enright. I live at 2019.
Stand close to the microphone.
Okay. My name is Jean Enright. I live at 2019 Blue Springs Drive. And my message tonight is to council and to the residents of Bethel Park. Speaking on behalf of the Citizens Committee to Defeat Commercial Rezoning in Bethel Park neighborhoods. The committee was formed to give the voters of Bethel Park the opportunity to repeal the outrageous 72219 vote to allow a Cool Springs land parcel that is currently zoned residential to be rezoned for commercial use and where they know a large gas station with 16 fueling points and a 4,800 square foot convenience store is planned. The goal of the Citizens Committee to defeat commercial rezoning in neighborhoods is to collect a sufficient number of signatures to require council to repeal the 72219 commercial rezoning ordinance vote. If council fails to appeal the vote following receipt of the committee's signed petition, the issue will be placed on the next available election ballot as a binding referendum. This will give the voters of Bethel Park the opportunity to determine whether the commercial rezoning ordinance will be repealed. The 72219 commercial rezoning ordinance directly affects the residents of Blue Springs Drive Drive, including 23 private homes, the Sheridan Personal Care and Memory Care Facility, consumers who use the sports complex and driving range, and children who use Millennium Park and attend the museum. We've talked in the past about all the negative effects to these residents and many Bethel Park residents who live on neighboring streets, who've also voiced strong opposition as they're impacted by increased amounts of traffic and pollution as well. Why should you care about this if you don't live on Cool Springs Drive or the vicinity? Consider that a majority of your municipal council allow for a large toxic gas station in the residential area, despite overwhelming opposition from a crowd of residents that overflowed council chambers on the evening of 7/22/19. If it can happen to Cool Springs Drive, it can happen in your neighborhood too. No matter the concern, be it commercial rezoning, your neighborhood, or flooding, or any other community challenge. From this experience, I can tell you the majority of municipal council is not listening to citizens' concerns, sound evidence, and reasoning. And he said that we're grateful for the 3 members of council who did vote against rezoning. Our municipal council was elected to protect our neighborhoods, our schools, our churches, and the residents of Bethel Park. A vote that allows for a large toxic gas station in the residential community is most definitely not in the best interest of the residents.
Thank you very much. Barb Bussey?
Vice President Bussey, 2005 Cool Springs Drive. Okay. Oh, that's better. Okay. A standing room only crowd opposed rezoning property on Cool Springs Drive from residential to commercial, yet municipal council passed the measure. American Natural Retail intends on building a gas station with 16 fueling sites and a large convenience store. Equally worrisome, the approved rezoning paves the way for future commercial development in this residential area. Kay Pierce, the Allegheny County Planning Director with over 2 decades of experience, wrote the following in her review of this proposal. With any rezoning, it cannot be approved with the condition that the site be developed for a particular use, because commercial zoning allows for a wide range of uses. Yet, Council ignored this professional opinion and indeed rezoned it with a particular use in mind, an already approved plan by American Natural Retail. She also stated previous zoning requests along with this one have blatantly ignored the comprehensive plan for the Cool Springs development, and Council's actions have been haphazard. Zoning is supposed to protect the health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community, and to protect and conserve the value of buildings. The majority of council failed to do their job, and they seem to have given their authority to a landowner that has decided this residential property should be rezoned for his gain, ensuring our loss, because gas stations and convenience stores are second among the top 10 industries that decrease nearby property values. It's more so than having a gentleman's club, a power plant, a city dump, or a shooting range. We understand this rezoning affects residents differently, and many are not directly affected. But the bigger issue is the majority of council voted into office by us failed to represent the interests of the residents of Bethel Park. Thank you to the 3 council representatives that heard our valid concerns and know who they represent. We called council, but none of those in favor shared their rationale for supporting rezoning. Indirectly, we heard the argument is that there's commercial zoning in the area, but does that truly justify putting a toxic business next to homes and 2 senior residences when numerous other gas stations are within 1.5-mile radius? Or ignoring the comprehensive community plan, which absolutely does not allow for this large business. Oppose this rezoning and remind council who they represent by signing our petition, and become more involved by leaving your name and number on our hotline. Thank you.
Thank you. Tom Bussey?
My name is Tom Bussey. I'm of 2005 Cool Springs Drive. On July 22nd, the Bethel Park Council approved a request by a single corporate entity to change the zoning of a parcel of land on Cool Springs Drive from R3 to C2 in order to allow a gas station to be built. The council chamber was packed with residents who strongly opposed this rezoning based on compelling evidence of the negative effects on our health and safety. It passed anyway. Ironically, the ordinance reads in part, whereas the Council of the Municipality of Bethel Park has determined that the public health, convenience, and welfare of residents and property owners in the municipality of Bethel Park will be benefited by rezoning of the property described. How this was determined when the room full of residents and property owners were submitting proof of the exact opposite: vastly increased public health risks, major traffic inconvenience, and decreased property values. The determination was not revealed. Sadly, council members who voted in favor did not offer any rationale for their vote. Since Mr. Dixon has received $10,000 in campaign donations from the management team of Brian Shanahan's Penn Cove Group and Pineapple Payments, and $3,000 in campaign contributions from several petroleum purveyors, based on our reading of the municipality's home rule charter, this is a conflict of interest, and he should not have voted, and now should be removed from office. We have sent letters to pursue this matter. The silence of other council members who voted in favor I find to be disrespectful and totally irresponsible as elected officials. You ignored the position of a large number of your constituents and offered no explanation. It's clear that the members who voted did not consider acting in concert with the residents' position, their responsibility, or providing their reasoning. We ask and urge all Bethel Park residents to sign our petition to oppose commercial rezoning of residential neighborhoods and remind council of who they are elected to represent. We hope this community effort for residents to support each other in this issue and any other issues that ignores residents' challenges and concerns will prompt council to act in the best interests of the residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Tim Enright.
Tim Enright, that's E-N-R-I-G-H-T, 2019 Cool Springs Drive. Instead of rambling and forgetting to hit the high point, I'm going to start out with it. Our committee hotline number is 412-714-6588. If you want to help in any way, give us a call. You'll leave a voicemail. We'll get back to you. Here's what's going to happen. Within the week, council will have our affidavit, and after you get the affidavit, we will start our petition drive. We have 60 days to work on that petition, during which time your vote is held in abeyance. It can't take effect until we've had our 60 days. You saw the turnout at the last meeting. That wasn't everybody. We're going to have more people than that. We will get the votes. We will have it on the ballot. So that's what's coming up. One of the things that I think is important is the council members that voted for the residents. Clearly, the residents were opposed to this. What do the residents want? Well, let me go to the public meeting results from the community center meeting on May 14, 2019 to review the comprehensive plan. Top 5 vote getters: reconfigure and enhance West Library and Brightwood. Number 2, extend the trail network. Number 3, eliminate blight. Number 4, protect property owners from flood damage. One of the top picks. And number 5, keep Bethel Park green. The only thing green about that land right now is the grass, not the gas station. So we look at some of the other items that were brought up at the discussions about what they wanted to see about Bethel Park. Increase attractions, restaurants, experiential retail such as public art, tactile urbanism. Get destination enhancements such as public squares, market halls. Create a community that's intentionally age inclusive. Increase the extent to which neighborhoods can integrate seniors by providing access to local amenities, support, and services. You won't find gas station mentioned one time. So what we would hope is that the council members vote for the residents and not for the businesses. Where is their influence? How are they getting you to vote that way when the people that elected you are clearly demonstrating otherwise? Again, our hotline number, 412-714-6588. Give us a call. We'll get back to you. The petition drive starts shortly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other residents who would like to speak on non-agenda items? If you come up and state your name and address. That's fine. If you could wait to get to the microphone, because, please.
Tom Majernik, 5460 Glen Hill Drive. I empathize with the gas station situation. I think that's a very important topic. But something else that I'm concerned about, and I'm putting out there just as a concern at this point, is this new garbage collection process. I left Mark a message. He never replied. But my concern is this. When this thing came into the process last year, I went to the community center. I talked to the manager who was there. I said, look, great idea, keep the place clean. But what if I have branches or an extra, because it's Christmas and I have some extra garbage? He goes, oh, no problem. Just put it beside your can. They'll pick it up, which they did for a month. Okay? Now they say you have to buy an extra garbage can. Well, that's twofold. One, it's going to cost me extra money. Two, I have no place to store one of those big garbage cans. I only need it 3 times a year. I cut some branches off my tree this weekend. I looked on the municipal website. It said clearly cut them into bundles, 4-foot bundles, put an extra garbage can, they'll pick it up. They did. I called the borough. Oh, we should have taken that off the website. That's incorrect. But it was on there last week whenever I looked. So now I got a bunch of limbs, small bundled as they were supposed to be, next to on my driveway. The point is this, though. I lived in Indiana County a few years ago, and they tried the same thing. You had to buy these bags. You had to put the garbage in certain containers, and if it wasn't in there, it wasn't picked up. Well, what happened was people started dumping. And that's what's going to happen here, I'm afraid. This is a concern of mine. My branches, well, if you don't pick them up, guess what? I'm going to burn them. You're going to have people burning branches and twigs and stuff because I can't have any place to put it. I've got to put these twigs in a brown paper bag, which kills more trees, and then deliver them every third Saturday to the municipal facility. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to burn them in my backyard. And I'll have a hot dog there to make it legal. So, and I'm going to dump my grass out back behind my lot. I can do that, but it's going to attract rats and rodents. And then people are going to start dumping regular trash too. So please, let's come to a happy medium. Let's get Waste Management to have an understanding. If I'm doing it every week, I will buy an extra garbage can, I promise. But if it's 3 times a year that I've got a little extra garbage from branches, they should be able to pick them up. They do it in Whitehall. I know that for a fact because they're over there in Whitehall, and I've got some buddies over there, and they do pick it up. So let's try to have a happy medium. Again, I don't want our community to become a dumping ground that I saw up in Indiana a few years ago. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, M-A-J-E-R-N-I-K.
Normally, this is a public comment section, but I will respond to you. One of the things we locked into the first year into the automated system, we are going to be reviewing. We're kind of locked in for year 1, and we are reviewing all the options, what's worked, what hasn't. Unfortunately, it may not any changes occur this year, but we are exploring. It was a test for us. We didn't have a choice when we went this way. I know the manager met with Waste Management recently, and we're reviewing all the options. We're taking all the comments from the community. I mean, it applies.
I was lied to at the very beginning. If he hadn't said that, I would have been up here talking more vehement. But when
But we are working on it, I can assure you, but we'll keep you posted. Is there anybody else on non-agenda items? Hearing none, can we turn to General Policy and Finance and Mr. Hannan? We have no residents signed up to speak.
We have no items under General Policy and Finance, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Hannan. I just have one item. I think we introduced a few months ago the Allegheny Land Trust and the Bethel Park Greenway Project. We started a fundraising campaign that we're targeting $35,000 for private funds. To date, I found out today that our goal of private fundraising is $20,883. We're well on our way, but we certainly need some support. There's 2 other grants that we have applied for that are going to fund the major portion of it. They have been applied for. Our state representatives and state senator are supportive. We're hoping to get some type of a notification probably in September, if not October, when these grants are actually awarded. So we'll keep everybody apprised. Okay.
Mr. Moore.
Mr. Harrison.
I also found out today that the number you quoted on the amount of money being sent in is approximately $20,000. But the bulk of the funds came in immediately, and now they're just coming into the trickle. So I'd like to remind the public that we have to meet this $35,000 goal to help us get other monies to see that this plan goes forward. I mentioned in the last meeting, much to the discontent of some of my fellow council members, that I was making the first contribution. I said that I would contribute my annual salary for 1 year into this fund. We met in the caucus room several months ago, and the gentleman that is the honcho at the Allegheny Land Trust briefed us, and at that time, Mr. Maury said, "Oh, Harrison, this is your chance to contribute $1,000." And I said, "No, I'll do better than that. I'll contribute $3,000 my annual salary for 1 year." Mr. Maury took exception to that, saying that he never said that. Now, there were several council members sitting here that were there. He certainly did say it. So he either conveniently forgot that he did that, or else he's sitting up there lying, and he can choose which he did. But I just want to tell you one other thing, that they're all in the minutes of the last month's meeting, but he said that I didn't take any interest in the project until we were on camera. I don't exactly know what he's talking about there, but I can tell you, and I've told council, that I have walked that property with Mr. Gutman many times, and he had many ideas that never developed. And just several months ago, there was a gentleman that came in that held a meeting in Industrial Park that was proposing to develop that property, and none of that happened. So I think Bethel Park is blessed to have this project going forward, and I would highly recommend that if you thought about making a contribution and you have it, do it now. Mr. McLean's not here, but he made a statement, and I could read it to you, but basically he was saying, if you make a contribution, just keep quiet about it. I disagree with that. I think if you make a contribution, you ought to encourage your friends, your neighbors, and your cohorts to make a contribution. And anybody that wants to know more about it can go on bethelpark.net. There's about a 1 hour video that you can look at that Mr. Doherty, who's with the Allegheny Land Trust, explained the total thing. So I would encourage you to look at that if you want to learn more, and I'd strongly encourage you to make contributions, and I would strongly encourage you to try to motivate your friends, neighbors, and cohorts to make a contribution. Thank you very much.
The only comment I'll make on that is what he said is simply not true. It's pretty apparent Mr. Harrison can take something that's a very good project and turn it into something negative and politicize it. Just as an example, we received the minutes of the meeting that he's referencing in our mail this past week. Wasn't good enough for Mr. Harrison. He had to go and request staff research and send additional copy of the minutes out to him so he can make his political grandstanding speech. Are there any other items? Hearing none, can we turn to planning and zoning and Mr. Dixon? We do have one resident signed up to speak on the Bethel Greenway subdivision project. Is it Christine?
This is regarding the Demar Drive. My name is Christine Gabala. I'm at 2404 Bethel Church Road. There is a complex, I guess, going in across the street, which we weren't really informed of, but technically wouldn't have much of an effect on us until I came home and there's markings on my driveway, through my yard, through my neighbors, and all of my neighbors are here as well because it's marked all through their yard, trying to find out who's going to be digging. And someone had been doing some digging in my front yard. Called the borough, didn't get any answers, nobody knew. Called the water company, they didn't know. Called Don Harrison, who told me that it has to do with the apartment complex going in. When my neighbor caught one of the gentlemen that was doing some of the marking, he said it was for the emergency exit. Well, he said it was for a road across the street. Well, if you know anything about Bethel Church, right where the Legion is, that's a lot of traffic. So we were concerned about the fact that there could be another road merging into there. Spoke to Don Harrison. He said that it's an emergency access and it's to be gated. We're here just to make sure that that is in fact the case. Also, is there going to be any digging on our side of the road based on the fact that people are testing while they're digging in my front yard? So, and I want to thank Don Harrison for that. But is that in fact the case?
No, the road, initially when it was proposed to the Planning Commission, they were going to make the road go all the way through to Bethel Church. Based on the discussion at the Planning Commission, the developer went back. It's going to be like a cul-de-sac or end. There'll be what they consider an emergency access road, so if a fire truck needs to get through, but it'll have some gate or obstruction that people will not be able to get through there on a regular basis, so it'll virtually be a cul-de-sac. And I can provide you after the meeting, I'll give you a copy of my plans.
Oh, that would be great.
So you can see exactly what it is.
Now, is there going to be any digging on our side of Bethel Church?
To the best of my knowledge, no, everything is going to be on the opposite side. There may be some access to, and I don't know if they've figured this out totally, to some of the utilities, which may go up through another property, but...
Which I'm guessing is why they were marking the utilities on our yards.
Yeah, I think what they do is they go in and they mark it under the one call just to see where they're at, because Bethel Church used to go down before they...
Right.
Many years ago when I was a child. That was a long time ago.
Now, I called one call. They didn't know anything about it. I called numerous people, and nobody could tell me what was going on except Dawn.
Yeah, essentially, if there's any utilities, I think they're going to be entering through properties on their side,
Okay.
but there's no intentional digging. And like I said, after the meeting, I could share with you the plan so you'll see what it is and what we're voting on this evening.
I would like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, can we turn to Mr. Dixon in Planning and Zoning?
Thank you, Mr. President. I do have one suggestion, though. With all the utility work that's been done in the municipality, perhaps it could be a totally unrelated utility construction going on there. It probably is not.
Anybody that could tell me specifically, after calling the water company, I called Alameda County, I called PA.
One call. Sure.
Nobody had any record of that. There's marks in my driveway, her yard.
We would not expect any digging to be going on
Yeah.
across the street. It would generally be right on site where the development's being occurred. That would be our expectation.
Thank you.
Okay, we have several items on the agenda for planning and zoning tonight. The first one is application Application 2019-0346, Bethel Pines subdivision, major subdivision, DeMar Drive. I move that we approve application 2019-0346, Bethel Pines subdivision, DeMar Drive, in accordance with the municipal planner's correspondence dated August 7th, 2019.
Second.
There's a motion, a second. We approve application number 2019-0346 Bethel Pines subdivision, DeMare Drive, in accordance with municipal planner's correspondence dated August 7th, 2019.
Mr. Mauer.
Okay, I'm going to give a kind of a brief overview. This is the property on Bethel Church Road behind the Bethel Park American Legion. It is currently zoned residential, and that's what they're going to be developing. Some of the concerns from the residents in the area were some of the runoff problems that exist today, and there's a couple homes that have been impacted. I'll go back to 20-plus years ago. We had some issues over there. We tried to work with the property owner to rectify because we needed to do some storm sores from the properties up along Bethel Church down to the catch basins on Lightwood. Unfortunately, we were not able to get the property owner to agree to it, so this situation has become exacerbated over the last 20-plus years. One of the things that happened when it came to, well, the first rendition came, as I mentioned earlier, had the road going straight through. The Planning Commission didn't like that. There was some concerns, some safety issues, all that. The developer, who's been very nice to work with, came back and said, okay, we may get one less house or we may have to sacrifice some things, but we'll work with the Planning Commission and not to make it a cut-through street. So they did that. When it came to council's table, one of the things we talked about was the stormwater runoff problems that it existed today. There's a couple parcels, and we're getting runoff from Bethel Church, that it goes down through the parcels that go on to the property they're acquiring, then it goes on to some of the adjacent property owners. What they have agreed to do is on one of the properties, they're extending their storm sewers from their detention pond, which is over adjacent to the trolley tracks, up to these properties to catch the water that used to run into the neighbor's property. So they're going to catch that water, and on the property line at the American Legion, they're also going to put up a curb to control the property from running from that area down into the residential properties. So we asked them to look at that, if they would do that. The municipality is kind of a back and forth, opted to, we would take over the detention pond once the development's done, because this was a lot of work. It's a pre-existing condition where they could have came in and said, it's not our problem, but then the neighbors would still have an issue because it would go across the property that they actually acquired. So moral of the story is they're extending the catch basins up onto that property, which will catch the water and run it down into the detention pond. The second area was up closer to DeMare Drive. There was some questions on runoff, not from that property, but from where the topography is today over there. What the developer shared and the site plan shows, they're going to be changing some of the topography over there. So where the back of the property line is on Lightwood, North Lightwood, right now it probably goes up 4 or 5 feet and it goes back into the property. They're going to grade that down. So essentially the high point of the DeMare property is going to be closer to the property line. They have committed to us, once they do the development, they're going to put some swales around the homes to ensure that there isn't any potential water issues. But just by the ways they're changing it, they're going to change the flow from water coming to the residential on North Lightwood. It's going to flow back into the detention area that they're going to put in. And where DeMare Drive is today, we ran into some issues where potentially the water was coming down. Once you go past the one house in DeMare Drive, they're going to put catch basins on either side of the road. All that stormwater, which runs down North Lightwood today, is now going to run kind of the other way and go into the detention area. So we're taking the big steps, and the developer has been very good to work with us in fixing a problem that exists today. We're working with them to hopefully rectify the situation. And for the homeowners there, as we get into the development phase and they go in and start doing work, there'll be an E&S program. They have to get a permit they have to get. So we're going to make sure they live up to what they committed to. So while I wasn't initially enthralled by this, in discussions with the developer, they were very amenable to work with us, so we hopefully have a good suggestion or solution. It's a win-win for everybody. And their timetable, if this is approved, is late 2019 or early 2020 when they're going to do this, so there's a lot of time and a lot of things have to happen before, even after we approve this evening. That is all.
Any other discussion from council? Mr. Manager, recall the roll.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Mowry.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Mr. Dixon.
Next item is another one for Bethel Pines, application number 2019-0347. Bethel Pines Major Land Development, Demar Drive. I move that we approve application number 2019-0347, Bethel Pines Major Land Development, Demar Drive, in accordance with the municipal planner's correspondence dated August 7th, 2019.
There's a motion and a second. We approve application number 2019-0347, Bethel Pines Major Land Development, Demare Drive, in accordance with the municipal planner's correspondence dated August 7th, 2019. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Campbell.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Mowry.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Mr. Dixon.
Next item is resolution R8-12-19A, adaptive signal upgrades. I move that we approve resolution R8-12-19A to submit an application for traffic signal approval to the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation per the Director of Engineering's correspondence dated July 18th, 2019.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. We approve resolution R8-12-19A to submit an application for traffic signal approval to the PA Department of Transportation per the Director of Engineering's correspondence dated July 18, 2019. What this means to most of us, an adaptive signal system will be improved traffic flow along the Route 19 corridor. The project begins at Brookside Boulevard in Upper St. Clair Township and continues to Connor Road in the municipality of Mount Lebanon. Projects of this nature are being completed along the Route 88 corridor and throughout Bethel Park. The project is expected to start construction in 2020, so they're going to kind of time all the lights to hopefully make the traffic go through on Route 19 a little quicker. Any other discussion? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Campbell.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Mowry.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Mr. Dixon.
Next item is another resolution, R8-12-19B, Sewage Planning Module, American Natural Retail, Cool Springs Drive. I move that we approve resolution R8-12-19B to revise the sewage facilities plan in accordance with the Director of Engineering's correspondence dated July 31, 2019.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that we approve resolution R8-12-19B and to revise the sewage facilities plan in accordance with the Director of Engineering's correspondence dated July 31st, 2019. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Campbell.
No.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Mowry.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-1. Mr. Dixon.
Mr. President, we have one more for Bethel Pines, and that is resolution number R8-12-19C, Sewage Planning Module, Bethel Pines, Demar Drive. I move that we approve resolution R8-12-19C to revise the sewage facilities plan in accordance with the Director of Engineering's correspondence dated July 31, 2019.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that we approve Resolution R8-12-19C to revise the sewage facilities plan in accordance with the Director of Engineering's correspondence dated July 31st, 2019. Any discussion on this item? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Campbell.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Mowry.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Mr. Dixon.
Mr. President, we do not have any additional items.
Thank you, Mr. Are there any additional items?
Mr. Murray.
Mr. Harrison.
Because we're getting near the end of the agenda and we close out too rapidly for me to keep up, I just want to speak to the citizens and tell them if they will sign the petitions that these gentlemen and ladies talked about, we can overcome this dastardly rezoning that my fellow council members approved in Cool Springs. So it's up to you folks to do two things. One, when you see the petition, sign it. And two, offer your help in working at the tables where the petitions will be and to work your neighborhood to get signatures. And these two gentlemen and two ladies are organizing the whole thing. And they gave a phone number that you can call to offer your help. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. Any additional items? Mr. Dixon.
My name was mentioned again tonight as it was in our special meeting for the Cold Springs rezoning. Under the dispersion that I did some unethical act by voting in that rezoning. And I feel compelled to address that on the record. I did nothing illegal, especially nothing unethical. I've lived my life as a man of honor. Anybody that knows me knows that honor is the foremost thing in my life. And they know that I would never do anything unethical. Before I cast that vote, I went to the Pennsylvania State Ethics Commission website where they address political campaign contributions, and it allows anyone to accept a campaign contribution and still vote on an issue related to that contributor. As long as there is no understanding that the vote is buying any sort of action, and that certainly didn't occur here. The Home Rule Charter addresses this as well, and they say only if you have a personal or financial interest in the entity, then you can't vote. And I have neither a personal or financial interest in Cold Springs. The whole thing started early in 2018 when I decided to run for the State House of Representatives, which is a very costly endeavor. And one must raise money in order to do that, to get your name out there, to get your message out there. You go to family, friends, people who know you and know what kind of representation you would provide in Harrisburg. And they make campaign contributions to you in that regard. When an individual makes a campaign contribution to a political candidate, they are not waiving their right to representation by that candidate. The irony here is that had I been successful in that run for the State House, I'd be sitting in Harrisburg right now. I would not even be on this council, and I never would have been able to cast a vote for that rezoning. So clearly there was no quid pro quo on a campaign donation that was made well over a year ago. So that's the background behind this. Let me explain why I always taught my kids growing up that it's better to get in trouble doing the right thing than by doing the wrong thing. So let me explain to you why I think this was the right thing to do to vote for this rezone. And one of the speakers here tonight mentioned that she referenced the fact that when you vote for a rezoning, you don't vote for any particular project. And that's correct. when you vote for a rezoning, anything that is legal within that zoning category can be built on that site, once it's been rezoned. So we did have this gas station on the agenda, but knowing full well in our considerations that what we were voting for was to change the zoning so that anything in that zoning category could be built. We all knew that, we were all aware of that. The beginning of all this started when they wanted to put this project on the corner of Hamilton Road and Baptist Road. There was a large outcry of people, residents, who were against it. Probably half of the people that were against it weren't even Bethel Park residents. They lived in Whitehall, because that intersection is at the border of Bethel Park and Whitehall. So there was a large outcry of people who did not want that. Frankly, I was against that site myself. But I was elected to represent the people of Bethel Park, and in particular the people of Ward 4. And we had a great number of people from my ward who came to those meetings and spoke against that rezoning at the corner of Hamilton, along with many other people. The overwhelming majority of people who spoke against that urged the applicant to withdraw the application for that site and to move the project down to the commercial zone at Cool Springs Drive. And so the applicant did that. They did what they were asked by almost everybody. And they came back to us with another plan, locating this project on the site that it now sits, that's now being proposed, Cool Springs Drive. There were several planning commission workshops, planning commission meetings, council meetings, public hearings. I sat through dozens of hours as the chairman of planning and zoning, attending every one of those meetings. And everybody thought that the right location was the current proposed location. At that point in time, nobody from Cool Springs Drive even attended any of those meetings because the residences are brand new. Those houses are brand new. And when this all started, I don't even know if anybody was living in those houses yet. Since then, several people have moved in though, and they have taken objection to this location. So having been through all those dozens of hours of all these meetings, this was the right location to put that. The people who opposed have characterized the area there as a quiet, pristine residential area. They keep referring to it as a residential area. And I respect their opinion, and I don't mean for this to sound acrimonious, but the fact is that Cool Springs is a commercial development. Everything over there is commercial. There's the largest commercial sports complex in this part of the state, right next door to those residences. There's a banquet hall there that serves hundreds of people every weekend. Music and wedding receptions and so forth. They open up the garage doors, people come out on the patio. That's right next door to these houses. Right across the street is one of the largest golf facilities, a commercial golf facility in the entire region. There's a commercial memory care facility directly across the street. Right down the street is a commercial shopping center with a very popular bar and restaurant. Across the street is Lowe's Home Improvement. I could go on and on, there's more, but I'll stop there. Everything over there is commercial, except for those residences that were just built recently. So they're not in a quiet residential neighborhood. Their houses were built in a commercial zone, irrespective of the zoning designation. And so the Planning Commission, which initially voted unanimously to deny the rezoning when it was at the Hamilton Road site, voted unanimously to recommend approval to council to rezone that site, the current proposed site. And so that's the genesis of all this. That's why this was the right vote to make. None of this had anything to do with a campaign contribution that was made well over a year ago for an election that would have taken me off this council and taken me out to Harrisburg. So I thought it was important to just let everybody know where I'm at with regard to why I made that vote. I wanted to make it clear, if it's not evident already, that it was perfectly ethical to do what I did, and I'm not ashamed of it at all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Any other discussion? Hearing none, can we turn to health, safety, and welfare? And Mr. O'Brien.
Mr. Murray, there are no items under health, safety, and welfare.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Any additional items? Hearing none, can we turn to public works and maintenance? And Ms. Gibbons.
Steeplechase landslide repair. I move that we approve the 5559 Steeplechase Drive landslide repair by Don Folino Construction in accordance with the engineer's correspondence dated July 17, 2019.
Second.
There's a motion, a second. We approve the 5559 Steeplechase Drive landslide repair by Don Folino Construction in accordance with the engineer's correspondence dated July 17, 2019. This is a small slide that was created by a storm sewer that was owned by the municipality. It was corrected last year. This is just going to do some dressing up of the area to complete the work that they did. So this is a storm sewer issue surrounding our storm sewer pipe. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Campbell.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Maury.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Ms. Gibbons.
There are no additional items under public works and maintenance.
Thank you, Ms. Gibbons. Are there any additional items?
Move we adjourn.
Hearing none, motion to adjourn second. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Good night, everyone.